This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
Let's do
I'm
it.
ready when you are, Gary.
Well, this
Gotta get the DDPY.
oh yeah, you look good in that, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's talk. We'll start the podcast out with that because that's what kind of brought us together last year. We did our last podcast together in January of 2019. Now, this is on the heels of that video that came out on YouTube about you that I think now, what are we at, like 50 million now views on that video or more?
More. Last I checked, it was like 67 million. So I don't know what it is now. That was probably a couple of weeks ago. It was at 67 million.
All right, so we're probably at nearly 70 million at this point by now.
But I don't know. It's probably it goes in spurts, man. It's weird. It's something will happen, and then it just kind of sits there and slowly trickles, and then something happens, and all of a sudden, it explodes. It's a weird deal, man.
Yeah. Now I know when we talked the first time, it was around 25 to 30 million, somewhere in that range. Yeah. And already at that point, your life had already changed drastically, both physically, mentally, and obviously with the YouTube that is also going to change. You probably got a lot more people in your inbox or a lot more people on your Twitter looking to chat with you. But when you add another 50 million or so onto that, how much more does life change with that?
Well, I mean, it's just exponentially, but it's weird that when it first started, I mean, everybody reached out to me, and I still get people reach out to me every day, but not like it was when it first went viral. I mean, when it first went viral, it was a flood.
Right.
I couldn't stay up with the contacts, couldn't stay up with the people reaching out to me. And now it's kind of slowed down somewhat to a steady stream. And I still have a lot of unanswered direct messages on different things. Some days I get in there and try to respond, but some days I just don't have time or can't do it. But it slowed down some, but it's still unbelievable. The people that reach out to me, the people that said I've inspired them, and the people that want help. It's unbelievable the reaction we've had to that video.
What would you say is like the number one question or comment that comes from that video? Somebody reaches out to you, whether it be on Twitter or a DM or something. What is like the number one thing you either get asked or just people say in general?
Well, thank you is the most, and that you're an inspiration. But what I get a lot of times is that when they see me, if I can do it, then they can do it. That video gave them hope. People that weigh over 400 pounds, 500 pounds, they basically don't have much hope. And they see me lose that much weight in a year, 200 pounds. It gives them hope that there's something out there that they can do to change their lives and to better their lives and to turn their life around. And so the fact that I was able to do it inspires them to be able to do it. So.
No, that's.
Guess I need to look up here, don't I?
Oh yeah, there you go. It's hard because actually, my monitor is over here, but my camera is right here. So I look directly at the camera and I kind of peek over. I'm like, oh, I can see you. Now I can see the camera. I'm breaking the fourth wall, everybody.
That's right.
That's right. But still to this day, I mean, you're still going very strong. I see you every single day. You're posting. Good God, 5-6 times a day, just constantly hitting it strong. How do you feel right now? We'll get into the COVID stuff and all that in a little while, but as far as physically, how do you feel right now?
I feel the best I've felt in 30 years, man. I feel strong. I've added some real light weightlifting, upper body weightlifting to the regiment, and I'm still doing a little biking once a week, and I just started again trying to swim once a week, but I'm doing an hour of DDP yoga every day. And then doing that weightlifting 3 times a week, upper body, and man, I feel strong. I feel good right now. My knees are my biggest limitations, but everything else, I hadn't felt this good in 30 years, Gary.
I love to hear that, and I think the knees is something that plagues a lot of us bigger folks. Is it's one of the first things that gets hurt or long term injury. And I know, like for me, I won't even like jog anymore or even run. Like I will walk 20 miles if I have to, but like I just can't. There's no jogging in this body no more.
Well, I mean, even walking, my knees swell up and hurt, and I mean, just walking on them really causes problems too. Because we were walking every day there for a while, and and that's why I won't do any lower body weightlifting. It's because of my knees. I'm just leaving the legs up, DDP yoga up to my legs, and it's been the best things for them so far. That my knees are night and day different from when DDP first started working with me. I mean, I can squat and bend, and I mean, they still hurt, but not like they used to, man. It's night and day difference from when I started 2.5 years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean that program will do some wonders on the body, that's for sure. Do you foresee that you'll ever have to do like surgery on them, or are you kind of just like, I'm going to leave them where they're kind of at, and we'll just let the yoga kind of just heal them naturally as best as they can, all things considered?
Yeah. Well, that's always been a thought that's always floating around in the back of my mind, because before I started this weight loss journey, I had went and saw an orthopedic and had him evaluate my knees to try to lose weight. And both my knees were bone on bone. And he said I qualify for knee replacements for both knees. And but he said he wouldn't operate on me until I got under 300 pounds. I was 475 at the time. So I just took that as another barrier that I couldn't, that I was going to be that way the rest of my life, And so that was a few months before I started trying to lose weight, before I saw Bert's video. And to answer your question, I don't know. I'm gonna avoid surgery for as long as I possibly can. I know it's probably in my future because my knees are definitely the worst. They cause me more pain than anything else in my body, both my knees. And if they didn't, I mean, I could do a hell of a lot more if they were in better shape. But so far I've been able to push it and do what I need to do, what I want to do so far, and they do get better a little bit, inch by inch, through doing the DDP yoga. So right now I don't have any plans to do it, but I know it's something that's probably going to happen in the future.
Fair enough. I would imagine that just in general, your doctor has probably got to be just absolutely amazed at all the progress that you've made in, what is it now, the last 2 years, right? You've been on this for almost 2 years?
2.5.
Oh, 2.5. There you go.
November 17. Yeah.
Oh, 17. Yep. So he's got to be
17.
just amazed at everything that you've done.
Yeah, I've got a couple. My internist, my family doctor, basically, is she's ecstatic with me, and but the main one that's really happy with me is the cardiologist and his physician's assistant. She's really excited. So they kind of follow my journey. So they just can't believe that the turnaround from when they saw me, when they first started treating me, to where I am today.
Definitely. Now, when this whole pandemic kind of hit, what sort of effect, if any, did it have on you? Because I mean, like I said, every day I still see you on there and you're doing your thing. You seem to be unaffected, but from your perspective, how did that impact your life?
Well, my wife and I both are blessed with jobs that we continue to work through the pandemic. So we were blessed to, since we both work for the county government, that our jobs have continued. And so, financially, it hasn't been that a big a deal. We've had some more expenses and different things, but and with being an attorney and working for the county, I've been able to work from home. My wife works for the district clerk. She still has to go in she's doing 2.5 days a week right now to try to keep the number of people in the office down. But, and so, from the fitness standpoint, it's been a benefit to me because when March hit, I had just lost an election and I'd gained about 30 pounds during the election process, and I hadn't been working out as much as I had. So the election was March the 3rd, and I got beat really badly. I got beat like 2-1. So, but that's okay. The guy that beat me is a good guy. He's a good guy. He's going to make a good judge. So, but anyway, so on March the 4th, I started the Vance's Challenge because I wanted it to be either a celebration or something to get my mind off getting my ass kicked. And so, I went out and bought 2 trophies. It cost me $100, 2 big trophies. And I said, the first man that loses 100 pounds and the first woman that loses 50 pounds wins the Vance's Challenge trophies. And I started it March 4th, the day after the election. And so I put my focus in on that. And then COVID hit, and I've been working from home, sticking to the workout routine. I haven't missed a day of DDP yoga since November of 19. So I've done it every day. I started out doing 30-minute workouts. Now I'm up to 60-minute workouts. And I do it every day. I hadn't missed a day. I'm over going on 7 to 8 months in of doing a DDP yoga workout every day. And so working from home has helped me to be able to do it more. And then you can see the bike back here. I started riding again on the weekends, and I just started swimming again. And then I added weights because my weight loss has been stuck. So since March 4th and last Wednesday, I've lost 37 pounds.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm back down. My lowest number ever in this 2.5 years was 252. Last Wednesday, I weighed 256.
Nice.
So I'm 4 pounds from my absolute lowest number, and I haven't been below 252 in 30 years. So I'm hoping to get into new territory soon.
And you got your foot on the gas, brother. You're just going.
Yeah. I don't plan on stopping, man. I don't.
No.
And people say I inspire them, and I try to encourage them to do the same thing, and it's just that whole DDP yoga community is a wonderful community. You're invested in it. You know what it's about. It's positive and supportive, and I encourage everybody to get involved in that community because the whole thing's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's built upon amazing people who definitely have your back for sure, as much as you will have theirs, and everybody's just it's a good community to be in. And you brought up gaining some weight during the election, and I mean, I guess just in general, how do you deal with seeing the weight come back up? It's something I've definitely dealt with as well. But for people that are listening that they've heard your story, maybe they haven't heard your story, and to see you go through that where you gain back a little bit, and now you're back down. What is kind of some of the mindset, kind of how you dealt with it, and how some advice for people to get back down?
Well, I mean, it's always hard because you're when you start gaining, and even though you think you're doing the right things and that you're doing the right exercises, following the right food that's worked up until this point, and it gets you really down. It gets you really depressed. Try to cross my foot here, Gary. I'm sorry if I make it noises.
No problem.
And so I got you get in the mindset that I might as well eat or not exercise if it's not going to make any difference. I mean, you begin to question yourself and doubt yourself whether you should keep going. I mean, the body works against you at some points, and then once you slip a little bit, it's just so easy to keep slipping and keep slipping and keep slipping and go back to your old habits. And so through the election, I knew that I needed to do something to jumpstart me, to get me motivated to get back into it. And that's why I started that challenge, the Vance's challenge, and bought the trophies and went into it, because I knew I needed to change my mindset. I needed to figure out and do whatever I needed to do to start the weight loss going again. And at first it was walking that did it, and then on top of the DDPY, and then a guy named Rick Coaster recently told me I needed to start lifting weights. And people have told me over the years I need to lift weights, but I'd always kind of, I didn't want to do it because I lifted weights playing football, lifted weight. I mean, that's how I've lifted a shit ton of weights, and I really didn't want to lift any more weights. But, I said, if that's what it's going to take to get my body moving again, changing, losing weight. So I started, and I've really enjoyed it. You never know what you're going to like until you try it, because once I started it and I took out the legs, the knees, I'm not doing anything that, I think I've learned that what I hated about weightlifting was my knees, because now I'm really liking all the upper body stuff. And I look forward. In fact, I'm going to go lift after we get done here today. I lift Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And, and I just do 3 sets of light weights, 15 reps, 5 different exercises each night. I'm not pushing it hard at all. Real lightweight. It's nothing. People would laugh at me that really lift weights, but it's just burning the fat and doing something different to the body. I think making your body do something that it's not. I've been doing DDPY now for 2.5 years, and I think it was a good idea to try to do something different, just to add extra stuff to it. And so, but I done forgot your question. Now I'm just rattling on and on, Gary. I forgot what your question was.
No, man, you're dropping knowledge. Basically, it was about, your mindset while you're gaining weight and trying to correct course and get back in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's hard to change the course again, because you know what you've got to do, but you also think that you're doing right, and it's not working, and it just makes you depressed, and you get in a bad spot to where you just kind of give up, and you can't let yourself get through that. I tell people a lot of times when they slip, I used to have a bulldog named Fifi, and she passed away last year, but I tell people to do what, when you mess up, do what Fifi does, or used to do what Fifi does, and that is kick some grass on that shit and walk away.
I love that. I love that.
So Fifi it, so everybody's going to slip. Life is going to get you. Life is going to happen, and you're going to get down. Then you got to get through the downs and just got to get back to work, keep plowing. It's all about consistency and sticking with it. That's what it's about.
100%. You mentioned about going through the election. Just briefly, what is, how much of an impact does that have on just your daily kind of, like, before that, you probably had like your daily routine, you're working out, you're eating and all that. When you put election on top of that, running for an office, like, how much more pressure, and that's probably an understatement, but how much pressure does that add to your daily routines?
It was tremendous change. I got a mosquito bothering me. It was a tremendous change. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. And my election was kind of a gentleman's, that we liked each other, so we didn't really attack each other. But it's all these other people, in the community that evidently have an axe to grind or something. But it's a miserable experience. I don't wish that upon anybody. And I promise you, I will never put my name on another ballot.
Really?
This was a one and done for me. But, during an election, you go into events, you don't have any schedule. Every day's different, and it's stress because you always got things you got to do. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this. I need to get a hold of this person. And I'm a stress eater. That's how I relieve stress. Anytime I get under stress, I start eating, and it feels good when I eat. So I've got to be real careful with that. And, I started the election at 260, I think, something, and I ended it at 294, I think was my highest.
Right.
And, it's very difficult. I kept working out, but I wasn't doing it as often. In November, I started doing it every day. I committed, but from like August to November, I wasn't as consistent as I should have been with the DDP yoga, and I quit riding my bike at all. I didn't ride my bike during that time. I didn't walk. The only thing I did was DDP yoga, and plus, I was meeting at restaurants, and I was meeting at going out to eat, and I couldn't control my food as much, and so it definitely caused a lot of problems to my routine and to my diet during that period. And I'm glad to have it back under a little more discipline now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe on a plus side, like when you were going into this thing, you already kind of had an internet presence through that video that went viral. How did that help you to go into the election as far as social media and being kind of a communicator? Like how did having a presence online before going into the election help you going into that?
Well, I think it helped. I think it got me all the votes that I got, in the election. I got about 37 or 8% of the vote or something like that.
Nice.
And, but I had no money, I was working on a shoelace, whatever you call it. I was
shoestring budget.
Shoestring budget, and which was my money. A few people gave me money, but not very many. And I learned that I have a hard time asking people for money, calling up and saying, you donate to me. I'm not a good politician, and so. The question was about the social media presence. I think without it, I wouldn't have gotten hardly any vote. And
yeah.
So, but most of the social media presence is not local. Most of it is, it's all over the world. It's crazy. And a lot of the local people don't even know my story.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so it's not as prevalent here as you would think. And, I talked about it a lot on the campaign trail, and I think they got tired of hearing about it, honestly. So,
well, hey, it's a hell of a story. The more people that hear it, the better off it's going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, but it all worked out for the best. I'm, honestly, if I could do anything, I would do something where I could help people lose weight. I can't tell you how much joy I get out of helping people and trying to help them lose weight. And so if I could figure out how to make money doing that, that's the way I'd like to spend the rest of my life, writing and helping people lose weight.
You ever thought about maybe doing some sort of coaching of some kind? Obviously I know your daily duties probably keep you pretty busy, but in a perfect world, would you like to just be like a coach or, start your own kind of group of some kind, where you get, 10 or 20 people at a time and you kind of just focus in with those people?
I'd love to. Anything I can do to help, that's, being a lawyer, I don't know if I've told you that last time, but being a lawyer is not a fun profession.
I could imagine.
We deal with people at their worst. We deal with people in the middle of conflict, deal with people who's facing charges or whatever it is. People don't come to lawyers because they're in a good mood. And so, it's to be able to be part of people's lives where they're losing weight and changing their lives and being happy and seeing what they can actually become. It's a wonderful experience. And it's if I could, if I could do the group like you're talking about coaching, I would do that. I know I've just signed a contract to write a 30-day workout journal for men with a group. So I'm working on that.
Cool.
I would love to do something like that to figure out what I can do to help people. I started I haven't started yet, but I'm going to start a podcast called and I've started another book called The 1 Ton Goal. And there's a guy, his name, let me get it, Frank Agan, and he's with he's a networking company, but he reached out to me on Twitter and we started talking and we ended up doing a Zoom call. But he came up with the idea. I wish I could give his shout out for his name. Before I go, let me give you his name. But his name's Frank Agan. But he said I need to do it's basically a 1 ton goal, 1K ton goal, 1,000 ton goal. And what that means is that it's my goal to help 10,000 people lose 200 pounds. Normally people that need to lose that much weight, right now I'm down 219 pounds. Normally people that lose that much weight don't, most fitness programs, most, people have given up on people in the 400, 500, 600 pound range.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe how many people have reached out to me over this journey that are in that range. And so if I help 10,000 people, if I inspired 10,000 people to lose 200 pounds, that would be 2 million pounds that I would help remove from this planet.
Wow.
So another way to say 2 million pounds is 1,000 tons. So if you do 1,000 tons, that's 2 million. And so the goal is to inspire people to lose 1,000 tons. And so I've got the website 1kton.com, and I've got the 1K ton goal names on several different social medias. And I'm going to start a podcast. I've started a book about my story. And so the goal is to start figuring out a way to get out and inspire these people to lose 2 million pounds, basically 1,000 tons. So if you see 1K ton in the future, that's me.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be hearing a lot about that because that thing's going to go.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I was in the position where I'd completely given up, Gary. I was just working till I was going to die. I mean, my knees were shot. And I thought I had, congestive heart failure, had been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I didn't think I could exercise to lose weight. I just I got out of the hospital in 2012, and I just figured I was going to work till I died. And then I started this journey and changed my life. And I just want people to know there's a different way. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. I couldn't wipe my ass. I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't walk to the mailbox. I couldn't do any. Gary, last year I did 20 triathlon events.
Unbelievable.
20. I did a 100-mile bike ride in August in Texas. I did a Olympic triathlon down in Waco, and I did a bunch of sprint triathlons. A lot of them, if they'd offered the aqua bike option, which means that you don't have to do always walk the run part. But if they had an aqua bike option, then I just do the swimming and the biking. And I at this one swim only deal, I swam 2.4 miles in a lake.
Wow!
It took me a couple of hours. And I did all this from March of last year to October. And then I started the election. And I just quit working out, quit doing all that. Well, here, let me show you something. Hold on.
Whoa!
These are all the medals in those 20 different events.
Wow.
This is the 100-mile Hotter Than Hell 100. Now, I was kind of pissed off. You ride 100 miles, it took me 10 hours. And they give you this little bitty damn medal. I thought it'd be a lot. I was the last one to finish. I was the very last one to finish it.
Yeah.
They'd already was shutting stuff down. But there's a bunch of sprints. This is the Olympic one I did. That was the one down in Waco. It was 1 mile swim in the Brazos River, a 25-mile bike ride, and a 6.1 mile walk run.
That's a beautiful one right there.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest one. But there was one. The Texas man. I did I don't know. There was 20 different ones that I did all kinds of different events. There's one called the Texas Man. In the Texas Man, I did the aqua bike. I don't know where it is, Gary, but
you got so many damn medals over there, man. That's incredible.
Here it is. The
Let's
Texas
see.
Man. I did the X50 aqua bike. So this is the Texas Man, and if you're
That's pretty cool right there.
Triathlete, you see how this is the X50?
Oh yeah,
on there, and so finisher. So what that means is, in the triathlon world, there's regular triathlon is 26-mile run. Let me think of it. It's 140. Let's see, it's 143 miles. So it's like it's 26-mile run. It's a I can't remember. Let's see. It's 112-mile bike ride. It adds up to 143 miles total, and then a 2-mile swim, 2.4 mile swim. I can't remember, but something like it adds up to 143 or something like that. And so a half a triathlon adds up to like 70. You see those stickers, 70.3?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. 140.6 is a full try. A half a try is 70.3. The X50 is the shortest. It's above an Olympic, but below a half. It's 50 miles. And so, and I only did the aqua bike, but in that one we swam. I think we swam a mile, and then we rode a bike 46 miles. I think something like that, 42 miles, something like that. But it was a good one. But it was crazy. I just pushed myself last year just to see what I could do, man. And it was awesome, man. Just shit, I couldn't walk to the mailbox 2.5 years ago.
It's amazing what we can do when we put our minds to it.
Absolutely. On
a much, much smaller scale, I fought against video for the longest time just on a podcast. And it was you, actually. We were on the podcast last year, like, hey, man, am I going to get to see you on this thing? Because we were on a Skype thing, and I was like, oh, I don't do video or anything. I think we ended up connecting on video anyway. Just didn't put it out. But it's something in our brains where we're like, I can't do this, or I don't think I can do this, and then we just don't even try. What you've done there is nothing short of phenomenal. If I could give you an idea, what I'd love to see, you should have a picture of you wearing all of those, and then put a side-by-side of your old you picture, and then a picture of you wearing all those damn medals, man. People aren't going to believe it. It's unbelievable.
Well, I need to. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I need to, man.
You want to talk about some good social engagement right there? That's a photo that's probably going to get a bunch of likes over on Instagram or on Twitter or something like that. Not that likes are the end all be all, but if you want to grab somebody's attention, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. So that's that's I can't. I just feel I'm just thankful, for that DDP reached out to me and the DDP yoga program. I'm just thankful that I don't know where I'd been if I didn't say, I started with those two principles, commit to yes and, I forgot the other one. Commit to yes and post everything online. How can I forget that one? And so the commit to yes was, try new things. And when DDP reached out to me, I said, I'll try it. And I didn't know what to expect. And 2.5 years later, I'm 219 pounds down and in the best shape of my life, man. Doing things I never thought I would do again, Gary.
It's incredible because you're talking a little bit earlier about how you thought you were just going to be working for the rest of your life. And I think complacency can be an absolute killer in our lives. Like it just drag us down and keep us from doing things that could change our lives forever. And you're a perfect example. I mean, you completely flipped the script and look at you doing amazing.
I'm hoping to get it. I want to get down to Wonderland. I want to get under 200. I can't remember a time when I weighed under 200. The earliest weight that I remember is weighing in my junior year in high school for football at 212.
Yeah.
So if I could get under 200, I'd get down there where Ryan Nichols is. He's down there in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that dude's a beast.
I think anything is possible. I mean, you can do anything that you put your mind to, and I mean, you've already done so much. I mean, you just you don't take your foot off the gas. You keep going. You do the best you can, and over time, you will see the results that you want to see. There's no
Absolutely.
Question.
It's that consistency. It's that you can't you can't start out in like a house of fire and burn yourself out or hurt yourself. You just got to go slow, do what you can do, and just keep doing it. Just keep, and figure out what you can do. That's the main thing. You try different things and figure out what works for you. And I promise you, DDP yoga will help you do any other activity that you want to do. And it will help you feel better overall. Just doing the DDP yoga program, and but start slow, start small, listen to your body, don't push it, don't hurt yourself. I mean, it took our whole life to get our body to the point that we are now, and we got the rest of our life to get it right. So there's no hurry, but do it every day. That's the key.
Yeah, I think that program is probably one of the most user-friendly programs I've ever seen because, DDP's yelling at you, but he's yelling at you to make it your own. Do what you can do. Here's the move, and here's like 3 different ways that you can try to do it. And I think that it's got to be the most user-friendly program that I've ever worked on, because I mean it tells you that no matter what situation you're in, there is a path to get you going, and if you stick with it, you can do some amazing things.
Unbelievable. I mean, you'll do things you never thought you could do, and that's exactly right. He's got programs for people that are stuck in bed. If you can move your arms and legs, you can do DDP yoga. And he's got programs to strengthen you to get up out of bed. And then he's got exercises from a chair to get you strong enough to where you can stand up out of a chair. And then he's got exercises that once you stand up to start getting your strength up to get you down on the mat. I mean, he no other program I know has ever accommodated my limitations and my physical problems. A 475-pound man gave me the instruction and the ability and the modifications to be able to do, yoga in whatever position I was able to do it. And now I can do it without modifications. I'm doing, I do it. I'm feeling pretty good about my practice right now.
Definitely. One of the things I think may be helpful to some, like you mentioned, documenting everything you're doing and putting it online. I see you got videos going like every single day. For people out there that maybe want to share what they're doing online, what are some of the ways that you're doing? Like, how do you film? What do you use? Sure. The tech guy in me wants to know some of this too, as well.
Sure. Well, they, right now, I track everything. I basically take pictures of everything. Like for anything I eat, I take a picture of it because DDP makes me send it to him, and he jumps on me daily about my portions.
Yeah.
With DDP comes tough love. You have to. There is no soft love with DDP. So with DDP comes tough love, and so. But I take pictures of my food every day, and what I'm doing right now is I'm eating 3 meals a day. Basically protein and veggies, non-starchy veggies. And I take pictures of them and I record it. I get up in the morning. I do push-ups and modified pull-ups. I just see how many I can do straight through. I'm trying to build my strength up in those. And when I do those, I just record it through my iPhone on an iPod. On an iPhone. And but when I edit it, I edit first up in TikTok, because you can get a minute in TikTok video and you can put stuff on there. And so my push-ups and setups are usually about 2 minutes. And so for Instagram and Snapchat, I use the TikTok edited version, and I can write stuff on there. And then for YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, I get to use the full 2-minute video. And so I just use the regular video and then write my post and put it up there. And then I do an hour of DDP yoga, and I've got it set up where my mats are in the, room upstairs. And I've got 3 of those LED lights around me, triangulated around me.
Yeah.
And then I've got my iPhone back on the tripod and facing me, but I put it on time-lapse photography.
Yes.
And there's a time-lapse mode in the camera. And so I just hit click, and it just takes the pictures as I go along, and it looks like I'm going real fast. It ends up being a 30-second video that, it took me an hour to do. And so once I get that time-lapse video, then I go back to TikTok and I can write stuff on it and just add music to it or whatever. And then I post that on all the social media, and I use that video straight from all the social media accounts. And that's basically it. When I lift weights, I do a time-lapse video too and post it. And so at the end of the day, but the next morning when I get up, then now I have photos of my food. I've got videos of my exercises, and then I can make a journal because I know exactly what I did. And then I write down my journal and my notes on my phone, and I text them to Chase Green. I text them to DDP, and I text them to a guy named Dodie Levinson out in, Dodie, what's his last name? Dodie, Levinson, Levenso. Yeah, Dodie Levinson out in California, because he started asking me about what I eat and what I do. And so I text them those and then send them the pictures of what I ate. I send the pictures of my food every day. So DDP gets, every morning he gets my journal entry, and he gets pictures of my food. And then he writes back, your fucking portions are too big. And so that's kind of the way it goes.
Wow. When you tell me that, I believe that 100%. And I've met the guy once, and I've talked to him a couple times on my old podcast, but I completely believe that.
So that's kind of the way my day goes every day, you know.
Speaking of which, he came out today on Instagram and revealed that he had COVID. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, he put out an IGTV today and talked about how, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, that he had the COVID. Kicked his ass, he said.
No, man, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, man, I was going to get your thoughts on it if you had heard about that or not.
No, but he put the video out. He'd been so careful, man. He has been dodging it so carefully.
Yeah, he put out, I want to say it was like a 10, 15-minute video, and he mentioned that very thing. He's like, I've been careful. I've had strict rules in my house. Yeah. And I don't remember every last detail about it. You'll have to check out the video, but wow. Yeah, he had it. He said it was the worst ass kicking that he had ever had.
So is he over it?
Yeah. He seemed like he seemed like he was in pretty good condition. So
I'll call and check on him when I get off of here. No, he hadn't disclosed that to me. I guess if he did, he's scared I'd let everybody know. So
yeah, maybe he just probably wanted to keep it to himself for a while. But I think you know how it is with the news cycles and stuff like that, especially in the wrestling world. You know, misinformation gets out there, and I think he even said that in the video. He's like, I want to put this out myself and. You know, just get it out there. So, yeah.
Well, I hope he doesn't have. You know, that's some weird stuff. Some people it doesn't affect. Some people it just mildly affects, and then some people it hammers. And I don't know why. You know, why it chooses a few people to hammer. I don't know it's kind of a weird illness.
Yeah, definitely. I don't quite understand it. I do know that my wife's grandfather had passed from it. My wife's mother had it. She's gotten over it, thankfully. Yeah, thank you. It's affected so many people. I don't know in your area how much it's affected the folks in your area, but I know at least in my area, it's certainly on the smaller end as compared to places like a Florida or New York or something, California, something like that.
Well, we're in a bad time right now. It's where do you live?
I'm in the DC metro area, Northern Virginia, just outside of the Washington.
Well, they're wanting to make y'all a state out here.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. I can't wait to get the heck out of here. Honestly, I cling more to the South. South Carolina is where my heart is. But I was born here and spent most of my life here. Outside of a couple of brief stints in Southern California, my father served in the Navy for many years, and so we moved back and forth, a couple of times. But most of my life has been spent here. But this area has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. It's crazy, and I'm surprised that we don't have more cases. And knock on wood that we don't get too many more. But it's certainly on a lower end when you compare it to some of the bigger locations.
Texas is going crazy right now, man. It's I live in Ellis County, and that's who I work for. We are adjacent to Dallas County.
Okay.
And Dallas County is has had quite a big problem, and so we've been slowly but surely building and getting it, and it's kind of exploding right now here, but not like it is other places down south. Houston and Corpus Christi and San Antonio, they've been hit really hard. And, our governor's opened us back up, I think too soon. And now they're having to face it. I mean, we're in bad shape in some of the bigger, more congested communities. The hospitals are full, and so I don't know what's gonna happen. They need to get it turned again and try to get it going back the other way. But it's a tough decision because the judges, the county judges, and then the governor, they've got to weigh economic issues versus the health and safety of the citizens. And it's who wants to be the one to make the decisions to bankrupt people. So I don't. I'm glad that's above my pay grade, man.
Yeah, it's a tough balance to walk for sure. I mean, I know, fortunately I was able to keep my job, but for like a month I was like cut in half my hours, and I tried to file for the partial unemployment, and they were like, you make too much. I'm like, Well, tell that to all my bills because they're going to be looking for their money here in a couple of weeks. You know, what do you want me to do?
That's right. That's right.
Had to clear out some of the savings to take care of that, and you know, luckily, you know, I ended up okay. But there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they lost their jobs, and it's just it's a terrible situation. And I'm not going to pretend like I have any sort of answer, but yeah, I mean, it's a wild time we're living in, and you kind of wonder, it's like, what's next?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's, you know, we're living through one of those times they're going to be talking about for decades, if not centuries. You know, and who knows what's coming? You know, we just got to keep trying to make the best decisions we can make every day, and stay positive and keep moving forward. You know, that's all you can do. Like my dad grew up on the farm. He ended up putting himself through law school, as it was a real successful lawyer, and so. But you know, every time I'd ask him something, you know, like something was bad was happening to me or something, he'd just say, "I don't know. All I know is you got to keep plowing. You just keep plowing, because you know they grew up on a black dirt farm. You got to get out there and keep getting that field and keep plowing, keep working, and whatever happens, but you get out there and keep plowing." So.
No, I think it's great advice.
Just to take it as it comes. And so I don't know. I'm really nervous because we are going camping. First time I've been out of the house for really anything. We're leaving tomorrow, and we're coming back Sunday, and we're going down to Matagorda, which is about halfway between Houston and Corpus Christi, where two of the biggest hot spots are. But Matagorda is a real small county.
Right.
And we're staying at a camping area that's right near the beach. And I talked to them, and they said that our camping spots, you know, far away from everybody else. And the lady I talked to there at the campground said that, you know, they've been getting some, but she doesn't know anybody that has it. And so we're just going to try to social distance and wear masks, and we're going to try not to go in anywhere on the way down, and just stay outside and try to follow the rules. And you know, I know my wife needs to get out of the house, but I think my kids are bringing my middle girl's bringing her trailer, then my son and my oldest daughter and her girlfriend are coming down, and my son's girlfriend. So we're gonna have a whole family there. And, you know, I'm really nervous about it, but hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully we'll have a safe trip and can practice social distancing and mask wearing and wash our hands good, do everything that's right, you know?
Yeah, wear all the masks, wash all the hands, and hopefully hope for the best. You know, stay safe out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been a hermit till you know, since March. I've been a hermit here at the house. I get out maybe to go, you know, to the bank or go to get my cleaning or something. I get out maybe, you know, I don't think I've used a full tank of gas in my truck since March.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think, right?
Yeah. And you know, so I've kind of become even kind of more paranoid about getting out, because I've been here so long, you know.
Oh yeah. It's kind of spooky at my office because most of the people work remote. The job I do is kind of physical. We have machines that I have to work on, so I have to go in. But you walk by some of the people's old desks, and there's calendars that are still flipped to March, and it's the biggest mind fuck, man. I'm telling you.
You know, this is the zombie apocalypse, you know.
I know it. I'll tell you what, though, we'll wrap up on this, because I know that this whole pandemic is kind of just taken the world by storm. But all things considered, what are some of the things? I know you mentioned the podcast you've got in development and wanted to help people. What are some of the other goals that you have, kind of for the rest of the year? Normally I ask people the next couple of years, but God, we don't know what we're going to be. We don't know if we're going to be a freaking planet next year. So What's some of the short-term stuff that you're working on here going forward?
I'm working on 2 books. I'm working on the 90-day fitness journal, and it should be out the first of next year. I'm doing that for Callisto Media, which they had reached out to me about doing it. I agreed to do it. And so it's a shorter project, so it should be done by the end of the year, and then they hope to get it out before New Year's Eve is the goal. If I can get it written, I've got some of it written. I'm also working on a second book, and that's that 1K ton goal that I talked about earlier.
Yeah,
I've gotten about 19,000 words. It's basically my story. How I got here and how I got to where I was and how I got here and kind of my, Winston Churchill said that history is going to be good to him because he's going to write it. So I'm kind of writing my history, about this story, and then I'm going to see if I can get it published, and then where I want to go and who I want to help people, and that's kind of what that book's about. I'm hoping by doing the 90-day workout journal for men and having it published that it will help me, give me some credibility, some street cred that the second book I may be able to get published. So we'll see. And then I've still got, before my viral video blew up, I was doing the extrausual.com podcast, Extra Usual. And I've still got about 10 episodes recorded, but when my video went viral and my world just blew up, I've kind of abandoned that. So I want to get those 10 back, start uploading them one at a time, and then get it going again. I love doing podcasts, man. I love doing what you're doing, sitting in that chair talking to people, listening to their stories, and just, I love that. And just, I love the media, and I love the communication aspect of it and what you can learn about. And, nowhere else do you have people's attention this long to talk about their lives and talk about them, and you can learn from them. And it's a beautiful medium. So I want to get Extra Usual going again, but I also want to get the 1K ton goal podcast going. I want to have two, and the 1K ton is going to concentrate on weight loss, and I'm going to bring people on that's lost some weight. I'm going to bring people on in the industry that can help people. I'm going to bring on, anything that might be advantageous to people in their weight loss journey. I want to be able to bring them on and give them a platform and an opportunity to talk to the public and to help them. And so I'm going to start the 1K ton goal podcast. I'm going to get the Extra Usual going again. I'm going to finish the 2 books, and I'm going to try to get in Wonderland.
And we got to get you on Joe Rogan at some point.
Hey, man, I'd love to do Joe Rogan, man. If I go out there, I'm going to do the sensory deprivation tank, and I can't, since I'm a prosecutor, I can't tell what else I may do while I'm out there. But
sure.
I would love to be out there and be on Joe Rogan and participate in the activities going on the Joe Rogan Experience. I think
you'd crush it on that podcast all day long. Enough with this small time podcast like you're doing over here with me. You got to get on the Rogan, man.
Yeah, well, if he'll let me on, I'll go, man. But he's the man. In the podcast world, he's the king. That's
true. It's amazing to see what he's done in the amount of time that he's done it. It's unbelievable, and he just signed with Spotify about a month or so ago. And
you know how much they paid him?
That's like $100 million.
$100 million for the exclusive right to do his show.
Vance, I'll take a fraction of that.
That's Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather money right there. That's real money. He's earned it though. He's put in the work. He's earned it.
100%. And as have you. You've put in some amazing work. You've got an incredible story. And I'm very thankful that you've taken some time to join me here on this podcast. Again, it was good to have another round with you.
Anytime, Gary. Anytime. You're doing good work out there. I know you put Chase on, and I think you put who else? DDP yoga people have you put on?
Oh, I had Morgan DDPY Mama. She's been on. Stacy, the recovering American.
Yeah.
Yep, she's been on here. So we've had a bunch of people, and people that are watching this or listening to this, because now we're on YouTube and all that good stuff. If you want to come on, This is I welcome everybody, whether you're DDP or whoever. Come on, bring it on. Let's do it.
That's right. I mean, you just it's so much fun just to sit here and just talk and learn the people's story, you know. And get it out there and get it out there so people's families and relatives can see their story, you know, because usually in conversation you don't get these intimate details of people's lives like you would here. And so it's a wonderful medium. And have you done Justin Dobbins?
I don't think I've spoken with him yet. No, I need to do it.
You need to get Justin. He's lost 300. He's lost over half his body weight. He was right at 700, and he's lost more than 350.
That's incredible. I don't know that he and I are connected. Maybe you can help connect us, and we'll make it happen.
You need to get him. His story is incredible. The dude's a beast, and he's down. He's 6'7", so he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And but he was 698 when he started, and he's down to like 342 or something now. I mean, he's more than half gone from this world.
That's truly incredible. That's truly incredible. And I want to mention before I forget, the first podcast that you and I did, I actually did put on YouTube just the audio. I'll link that below, or if you're listening, I'll put it in the show notes. So if you guys want to hear Vance's backstory, because this is kind of like us catching up here and talking about the last year. But if you want to hear Vance's like backstory, that's on the other podcast, and I'll link that in the description below.
Yeah, well, keep kicking ass, Gary, man. I follow you on social media, especially Instagram. I see you all the time on Instagram.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and same to you as well. And we'll do it again.
All right, man. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you so much, Vance. Good to talk to you. Take care.
You too. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.